So the Recluse change is kind of confusing. This actually dropped with Sandbox 2.7.0, and it states that the Master of Arms perk had its precision damage function removed. Now, it goes on to state underneath it that the weapon still provided a damage bonus, but non-precision damage is no longer disproportionately increased. Now, in the previous Sandbox, what made Recluse such a nasty option was that it went from hitting 19 per crit and 11 per body, and upon activating Master of Arms, that damage jumped up to 25 per crit, but also 25 per body, giving it approximately a 0.47 time to kill value, whether you hit crits or body shots. It didn't care, man. Recluse was nasty. Now, with this change, at least when I previously read the Sandbox patch notes, I was like, all right, it's probably going to still do 25 per crit. They're just taking away that damage bonus to body shot, as in it'll ramp up a certain percentage, but that's it. Turns out, that's not the case either. Like, I don't know who writes these patch notes, but this was very vague, to say in the least. But now, in this current Sandbox, upon activating Master of Arms, which again is like a pseudo version of kill clip that will allow kills with any weapon to improve Recluse's damage. Upon that activation though, our damage jumps up to 22 per crit and 14 per body, which is substantially less in both crit and body shot damage in comparison to what it was before. Now, I'm sure there's some rounding of numbers here. I think it's probably like 22.5. Haven't tested that completely, but after running some of the numbers, if there is some rounding in place, you're looking at a flat 18% buff for both body shot and time to kill values. Again, this is taking into account rounding. Technically speaking, just from face value, it's actually a 16% buff in terms of crit damage and a 27% buff in terms of body shot damage. But again, numbers do tend to round, and not in the way that we think, as in that 14 damage per body with something like Master of Arms might actually only be 13 damage per body. Not 13.5, 13. Numbers in this game, man, are so funky. I've actually seen them jump from 12 to 14, if that makes any sense. It doesn't, not mathematically at least, but that's just the way the spaghetti code works, I guess. Now, upon seeing these damage values, I was curious, how does this stack up against a regular 15 impact variant SMG that's in the same archetype as Recluse, with something like Kill Clip? So just like Recluse, it's 19 damage per crit and 11 damage per body, but with something like Kill Clip activated, it jumps up to 25 damage per crit and 14.5 damage per body. This is approximately a 32 to 33% increase for both crit damage and body shot damage, which is essentially equivalent to what Kill Clip does on all of our weapons. But notice that Recluse is doing less damage than a regular SMG with something like Kill Clip is doing within its same archetype, which is kind of mind-blowing. I know everybody hates Recluse. I don't necessarily like it, at least in the previous Sandboxes, but it is categorized as a pinnacle weapon. And over the past 6 months, Bungie has actually been going in there and killing off pinnacles left and right. Started with Magnificent How, on Luna's How, and Not Forgotten, changing the archetypes of those hand cannons completely, as well as the perk. Then we saw things like Desperado on Redrix also receive a nerf last season inside of PvE. Not many people complain because not many people use Redrix inside of PvE, but probably the most demoralizing change was actually Breakneck, which tends to drop in damage with each stack of Onslaught. Now, I know everybody wanted to see Recluse pretty much destroyed, but I gotta say, having the damage do less damage than a regular SMG within the same archetype with something like Kill Clip is a bit sad. Alright guys, I'm just saying, it's kind of sad. It's not the direction I want to go, because today it's Recluse, tomorrow it's my boy 21% Delirium, and then Main Ingredient, and then where does it stop? Nobody is safe anymore. Now, despite those changes, is Recluse still an option for you? I'd say the biggest benefit to something like Recluse is that the perk can activate on other weapon kills, which is why it combines so well with things like snipers, mountaintop especially. Any weapon that has the propensity to get a one-shot kill makes Recluse an obvious choice to go with. But when we do a side-by-side comparison, Recluse versus other SMGs, I'll say despite Recluse not having the damage values equivalent to something like Kill Clip, the ease of use that Master of Arms presents, the ability to extend Master of Arms in certain engagements, say if you were to get a sniper kill, but you got an enemy kind of on the other side of the map, you've got a small window there in which you could start moving toward that enemy before swapping to your weapon and activating Master of Arms. That ease of use combined with Recluse itself, because despite the weapon doing less damage in comparison to something like Kill Clip, I gotta say guys, Recluse is still the best SMG amongst other lightweight SMGs. It's just too damn consistent. I've got this Breath of the Dragon, Kill Clip, Ricochet rounds, Zen Moment. Could it be better? Maybe, but that's not a bad roll. But despite this roll, and despite the damage bonus that Kill Clip gives over Master of Arms, Recluse is still a great option as it remains sticky outside of fall off range. Like, it's almost like a hidden benefit of Recluse, that it still remains on point outside of its damage fall off range, which is approximately 16 meters. I'm not saying you're gonna win every engagement at the 20-meter range, but you'll still be able to put some damage in. Where some of our other SMGs, maybe not in our precision or aggressive frames, but most notably in our lightweight frames, you really start to see a point in which your bullets not only significantly drop off, but just don't make contact. So Recluse, guys, yes, it lost some lethality. But when we start to break down time to kill values, in this sandbox, Recluse's optimal time to kill value is 0.67, and its body shot TTK value is 1.13 seconds. With something like Master of Arms, it's not as deadly as it was, because remember, previously it was 0.47 for both optimal and body. Now you're looking at a TTK value of 0.53 seconds optimally and a 0.93 second body shot time to kill value. Obviously, more emphasis is being put here on landing crits, which is what we wanted all along with Recluse, as before people just spammed it and still got rewarded. But seeing now that there's only a 0.06 difference between its optimal time to kill value in the current sandbox and its previous TTK value last season, is not that big of a difference. Technically speaking though, a lightweight SMG, which is something like Kill Clip, can reach that 0.47 time to kill value. But at that point, guys, TTK values and all those things are not nearly as important as just having an SMG that's consistent. So even though Recluse, yes, is not doing as much damage, is emphasizing more on crits, it's still a viable option. And with the ease of use that Master of Arms presents, I think it's still a go-to SMG. But simultaneously, in its current state, also leaves room here for other SMGs to dominate. Now, I would say the most apparent change, though, was inside of PvE. As Recluse in the previous sandbox used to receive a buff of 92% with something like Master of Arms in its body shot damage. But the damage buff inside of PvE is a flat 20% for both body shot TTK values and crit shot TTK values, which is substantially less than many other SMGs, which is basic perks, things like Swashbuckler, Rampage, Kill Clip, Multi-Kill Clip especially. I would argue and say Recluse now has been more dethroned inside of PvE than inside of PvP. What's so funny is it might actually be more dethroned, not necessarily from other SMGs, but actually sidearms. Sidearms are absolutely disgusting in this sandbox, especially if you've got a well-rolled like Last Hope or Breach Light. There's many options for PvE, and with Recluse only giving a 20% buff here, it's going to be really hard to justify it against other perks in the game. I would say the biggest benefits to something like Recluse inside of PvE is that it does refresh on itself, meaning you can chain kills back to back and still keep that Master of Arms perk up at all times. And considering that it does have Feeding Frenzy, it's very unlikely you'll be waiting on a reload in order to get that 20% buff. On top of that, the ease of use in terms of getting other weapon kills and activating Master of Arms. I think what it's really going to come down to is your encounter that you're in, how spread out the enemies are, and whether or not you want to lose out on some of our high damage dealing perks, especially things like Multi-Kill Clip. I've got a bug out bag, which I don't even know if we actually reviewed here on the channel. If I didn't, I'm ashamed of myself, but it came with Multi-Kill Clip. Absolutely disgusting. On top of that, Multi-Kill Clip also offers a level of ease of use where you can constantly keep proccing Multi-Kill Clip on itself, allowing you to kind of like hopscotch your way to 3 stacks of Multi-Kill Clip. So I guess for PvE players, I don't know if this is a good change for you or not. I do know that something had to be done because the first week that the dungeon released, I think 92% usage of all kills in the dungeon were from Recluse or something. It was something on that level. It's like 92% or 89%. Either way it goes, something had to be done. I'm just more surprised that Bungie didn't put it on the same level as Kill Clip. There was obviously something here that made Bungie say, you know what? We needed to dial this thing back more than what an SMG would do in its same archetype with something like Kill Clip. And they did it for both PvP and for PvE. Well guys, that is our review there for Recluse and Sandbox 2.7.0. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Are you happy? Is this the nerf you wanted to see? I'll admit something had to be done to Recluse. I guess at this point, I'm just kind of concerned some of our other pinnacle weapons are going to be affected. And I really hope they don't. I really like the state that many of our pinnacles are in, outside of maybe like, I don't know, Oxygen. Watch Bungie nerf Oxygen. But I'm very curious to know what you guys think, man. How do you like the changes that's been made to Recluse? Was it too much? Was it just right? Or was it too little? Did you want to see this thing eradicated off the face of the earth? Or do you like it where it's at right now? Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.
Bye.